Okay, so unfortunately we had a technical difficulty there, but we will try our best to get back to everything as normal. So what we will do is we will just have a glance quickly at the bottom left of the screen. It looks like everybody's in. There's 12 people, so that looks like everybody that is meant to be racing. Obviously Matthew Wadley just needs to enter there. He's race lover, so let's just go here and just say, type a message quickly. And let's just let them know that it's starting now. Starting now. Just to make sure everybody knows what's happening, we will just give them time at the bottom. So let's say we started at 3 minutes, so at 18 minutes in the bottom left it will end. It will run until 18 minutes. On bottom. So it seems like we definitely need to find a more efficient way of resetting this server, because we obviously can't be doing this every single time it happens. So it's obviously an inconvenience to everyone that's watching, and an inconvenience for the drivers. So we'll have to see. But anyway, all issues aside, back on the track. Run from the beginning. Uzas, which is Zahir. Very good sound for car. So if you have a look on the screen to the right of the display that shows the speed and the gears, you will see that there is a little red light flashing. So that is your traction control. So obviously some drivers drive with it and some drive without it. My personal opinion is to drive without it on GT Sport. I feel that the traction does not function as efficiently as it should in a GT3 spec car. But with games such as Assetto Corsa Competizione, the traction control model, as you see guys, fighting during qualifying, which is not really necessary. Oh, there we go, goes Rick Larrera for a bit of a spin. Not too sure what Rick is doing, but he's going for a bit of a spin there. But anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, the traction control model is not really up to scratch. You'll find that on Assetto Corsa and R-Racing, for example, and even R-Factor 2, the traction control model works pretty much as close as possible as to how it works in the contact again. And there goes Rick again, doing another 360 to avoid the contact. This feels like we're in the race already. There's so much action going on here. As we go on board with Johnny Araujo, who is currently in 4th position. Rick is fastest at the moment with a 144.9. So that's some good lap times from him. Let's see what time Johnny manages this lap. I have been watching the lobbies that have been going on and keeping tabs to what's happening on our WhatsApp group, and it seems like the front of this race will be in, or should I say the front pack will be in the mid 44s, mid to high 44s. So we definitely will see these times come down, obviously, you know, as the guys get settled back in. Obviously that lobby crashing doesn't help anyone, because everybody gets sort of out of their rhythm. But as you see, Johnny putting in the fastest sector so far, sector 1 so far, 0.381 of a second up, so could be on for quite a decent lap here. getting a bit squirmy there as you see the traction control working. As we go through the long left-hander. Very difficult and technical track this. It reminds me a lot of Red Star Raceway, which is also a very technical track. Very you know, a track where you, in order to be fast, you need to know your racing lines and to get the best exit out of basically every corner. Obviously, you always want to try and do that, but some tracks are not as technical as others. So. Coming into the final sector now, to the double right-hander. It's like a very clean lap so far here from Johnny. If he holds it together, which I'm sure he will, as we come through the second last corner. A little bit wide onto the straight. Very good lap there, it looked like, from Johnny. Let's see the lap time. He does indeed go to pole position, 144.6, so very good driving from him. Back to Rick, who is getting passed by, I think that is Adrian LaRue, who is in 4th place at the moment. Good job from Rick getting out of his way. I do think that Adrian might have made a slight mistake this lap as he's sort of down his best lap. And in 3rd position, Darren Winterboer, doing very well. I know he has been putting in the practice and the hours, so good to see him in the top 3. Let's see as he comes across the line. 46, so he presumably made a mistake, but let's go on board with Darren for a little bit. As I said, turn 1 is a blind apex, so you want to brake just after the 100 board, wait a bit to turn in. Getting a little bit on the grass, almost made the same mistake I made last night, but luckily didn't. So 0.086 down on the first sector, which is not really much of an issue, but it is demotivating to be down in the first sector. I speak obviously for myself at that point. Obviously, I think any driver doesn't want to be down on any sectors. But to me, the first sector is one of the important, as Farad unfortunately getting in Darren's way here. Unfortunately, so that has compromised his lap, but hopefully Farad does get out the way. I think Farad has braked a bit too late. Definitely going to be some contact here. But anyway, luckily, obviously, you know, it does work like real life. It should be. Guys should move out the way during your qualifying lap. They should be looking in their mirrors. They should be doing everything that they would usually do on a racetrack. Obviously, to people who are new at sim racing, especially in this competition, it is actually a lot to do. It's not actually as easy as it looks, as I'm sure many of the guys will tell you if you ask them. But it is actually very difficult to race on a simulator, and obviously, in no way can sim racing and real racing be compared in terms of obviously realism. There has been some discussions lately that guys are saying, yeah, you know, guys in real cars don't really push as hard, etc., which is completely untrue. I promise you that all of the guys in our race series and all in race series all over the world, I promise you the guys are pushing as hard as they possibly can. No one is holding back anything, irrelevant of whether, you know, you can make a mistake and it costs you money. You also hurt yourself, of course, but nobody goes to a racetrack to hold back, I can promise you that much. Yes, obviously on the simulator there's no fear, but it requires two totally different talents, let's put it that way. Sim racing is one talent, and obviously real world racing is another talent. If you take an example of Fernando Alonso, he's not that good on a sim, but I think we all know what happens when you put him in a Formula 1 car, for example. You end up with an F1 world champion. So obviously the two can be related, but they are in no means the same. So yeah, like I said, two separate talents. Obviously, if you are used to racing, then you will pick up sim racing quite easily. However, if it is the other way around, that you are used to sim racing, then it is not a guarantee that you will pick up real world racing quite easily. As the feeling of being in an actual car, like for example this corner, if you are really here doing 130 km an hour around this corner, I promise you, you're not sitting relaxed drinking your glass of water next to you. You are sweating, you are hot, and your heart is beating through your chest. Because that's obviously, you know, you're on the edge, one mistake and you're off the circuit. So Darren actually goes fastest at the moment, a 144.5, so a good lap from him. 0.1 ahead of Johnny Araujo. Very good lap there from Darren. Following Johnny around a bit. Another lap, there's 5 minutes left of qualifying, so it looks like the battle in the front is quite close at the moment, as there is 0.4 of a second separating the top three. Rick getting very out of shape there, getting on the power early. As I have been saying, this M6 is very tail happy. So the M3, obviously the M3 and the M6, they have very different characteristics. First of all, the M6 is twin turbocharged and the M3 is naturally aspirated. So the M6 has sort of a spark in power as you touch the throttle. It's very difficult to control, especially without traction control. But yes, as I said, I do, and most of the guys do race without the traction control because it is faster. Yeah, so the M3 does understeer quite a bit more than the M6, but it does not have any snap oversteer on the exit of corners. So obviously, if you prefer a car that understeers, speaking about understeer, you see a prime example there of what happens if you go in a little bit too fast with this M3. To bring the nose back is quite a mission. But it all depends on your driving style, which car you prefer. So if you prefer oversteer, then the M6 is the car for you. But if you prefer a bit of understeer and a car that's more stable on the rear, then the M3 would most probably be the best for you. So a rundown of the order quickly from the top. We have Darren Winterbury first with a 144.5. Second, we have Johnny Araujo with a 144.6. Third, we have Rick Lerero with a 144.9. Position, we have Adrian LaRue, who has done a 145.5, so good job from him. Like we said, the top four are split by 1 second, so a good effort from these guys. In fifth place we have TH Buya, who is Ron Arupsa. In sixth place we have Philip Meyer. Seventh place we have Matthew Wadley. Eighth position we have Renier Smith. Ninth we have 10th we have Roddy Wayne. 11th in the pit lane we have Manny Ribeiro, not sure why he's in the pits. And 12th we have Rian Vos. So in this game, as we see, Rian is 1.2 seconds off, so he is at the moment in 12th, but he isn't really. So if Rian doesn't go out of the pits and cross the start-finish line, not the start-finish line, the end of the sector 1, he will be starting from the back of the grid. So I think what we need to do is actually make him aware of that. Actually, that goes for him. So let's just take a message to this gentleman. Just let them know. Tell them quickly, Manny. Otherwise, they will be starting from the back of the grid. So hopefully, they do see the message. We don't want them to not start in their position. This has happened to me before, so I speak from experience. I did qualify pole in one race, and then I went back to the pits to change my tires. And the race started without me, so that wasn't my best experience, but I guess, you know, you learn, and that's why I've learned. So let's try and help these guys. Hopefully they do see the message. It seems like a lot of the guys are running with the plane. Let's try it. Let's give it one more effort. So obviously Manny in the bottom is talking about tyres, but there is no tyre wear. Well, there's nothing I can do. If these guys don't actually go on the track, then unfortunately I'm going to have to start the race, and they're going to have to start from the back. But there goes Manny. So we're just waiting for Ron Harapsaya just to take to the circuit. Give it one last try just to get him onto the circuit, and then we'll start the race. It's important to note there won't be any restarts from the beginning of the series. I have not restarted a race. So let's see. Anyone hopefully reads the message, I'm not too sure. But if he doesn't, then unfortunately he won't start the grid. So he will be quite a few positions down to where he should be. He is actually in 6th place. So once he crosses the sector, the sector line, you will see he will take his 6th position that I think he's in, and then after that, obviously, we'll begin the final. So let's just see. Let's wait for him to do that. He's going a bit wide. So as I was saying, obviously, we have not restarted one race. And I don't plan on doing it. Obviously there are auto drive issues and connection issues and all that, but unfortunately it is part of life. There's nothing that we can do. So let's just see if we can start the final. Unfortunately we can't, so we have to enter and start the final here. Okay, so hopefully turn 1 will be fine, yeah, let's hope the guys keep it clean. Last night there was a bit of disasters, but it's all part of it, I suppose, until guys get more and more used to you know, the whole sim racing vibe and the way things work, which, like I said and have said before, is how real racing works. Yeah, so obviously most of these guys, as I have spoken about the DR and SR before, so obviously we will just exit the race now, and we will go on to, to spectate, and we are off. Okay, so it seems like we have quite a few issues, and there are actually three drivers that have. Okay, so I think this will probably be the first race that we restart, because we have 3 drivers on the grid that unfortunately stuck. So what we'll have to do is tell everybody to exit the race. I'm going to have to restart. I will do this a maximum of 2 times. Let's just see if we can hopefully get the guys to exit the race and not the lobby. Luckily we did do a practice start before this, but obviously it hasn't really worked well. Hopefully these guys will. So I'm not sure if we can actually go on board with the one that's stuck on the grid. We can, I'm not too sure. Let's see. So unfortunately the car just gets stuck on the grid and you can't really do much. So okay, it looks like most of the guys have listened. Hopefully we see the rest of the guys following suit. Okay, gone. So we're just waiting for Rick, who unfortunately it looked like he had the lead, but unfortunately he's going to have to exit. So he's, looks like Ron Adams will be exiting. obviously when the car's ghosted, you know the guy is in the pause menu, so hopefully he exits. There we go, so we're just waiting for these three, so let's just send a message to them quickly. I think it is Rick, Adrian and Philip. Let's see if they do get the message. Let's see, let's bug them a little bit. They'll have to look at it at some point, so let's see how many of these we can spam them with. Okay, it's worked for one of them. I think it worked for Rick. So we're just waiting for Adrian and Philip at the moment. We're waiting for Phil. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to have to do, just going to say, we need to obviously reorganize the grid. Okay, so we're going to have to reorganize the grid quickly. I'm going to have to do that manually. So let's just do this. We could maybe try this. I wonder if it would work. I don't know if I want to take a risk. I'll rather just set it myself just to make sure that everybody's in the correct position. So let's just go back. Sorry for the delays. It seems like we have been having a few technical issues lately, which is not ideal. But so let's just see if we can go back again and find a picture of the grid quickly. Luckily we do have the grid in front of us, so that should help us. So let's just set the grid order quickly and then we will be back racing again. So it actually gives us a chance to run through the grid. So it was Darren Winterbury in first, Johnny Araujo in second, Rick Lerrero in third, Adrian in fourth, Rian Wust in fifth, so good effort from him. Then we had Ron Harmsen in sixth, Philip Meyer in seventh, Matthew Wadley in eighth. So looks like our BM club drivers were doing quite a good job here. Renier Smith in ninth, and Zahir in 10th. Okay, Farad Ibrahim 11th, and let me see, I don't see him. Oh, sorry, he was 10th. My bad. Apologies. So that should be like that if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that looks correct. Okay, that looks right. So all we have to do. Okay, now we see Manny is left, so I'm not sure why that's happened. And a few guys have unentered, so let's just wait and see. Obviously, it's possible that these guys are having some technical issues, so let's just do this again. I think we'll just enter as well, so we can put ourselves at the back of the grid and then eventually spectate the race, because we need to start the final. So just need to wait for Manny C. Obviously, just need to make sure that I am at the back of the grid. I don't want to get involved. Okay, so everybody is entered. Let's just run through the grid one more time just to make sure. Change grid order. Let's just put ourselves, where are we? At the back of the grid. And it seems like, so let's just make sure. So we have Darren first, Johnny second, Rick third, Adrian fourth. So now struct Rian all the way to the back of the grid for some reason. Rian in fifth, TH Buya or Ron in sixth, Philip Meyer. Then we have Matthew Wadley, Renier Smith, Manny C should be over here. Renier, Manny, Zahir and Farad, and then myself at the back. Okay. So let us get on track. Everybody's on track. So let's begin the final. And let's try that again. Let's see what happens. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. Obviously there will be some guys that have issues. Hopefully nobody has issues. But I think if there are issues this time, then obviously if there is again 3 or 4 people, then unfortunately there's nothing we can do. But if there's only 1 or 2 guys, then unfortunately we're going to have to let the race carry on. Obviously we can't be restarting races the entire evening. This is the first race I have restarted. So let me just focus on exiting here quickly. I'm going to spectate. As soon as it gives us the option. Okay. So, okay, again, another disaster again, yeah. Not too sure how many guys this happened to this time. The same 3 guys stuck on the track. So it seems like these guys are having issues with their internet. I think maybe we can try it one more time. We'll try one more restart, and then unfortunately whatever happens on the next one we'll have to count. So let's try that again. At least that kept it for me. Let's just do this. One last restart. So we just need to make sure that the grid stays the same. Hopefully it does. Obviously we need to wait for the guys to enter again. But just go back to the grid and let's try it one more time. Okay, so it looks like all the guys are back in. Just waiting for Philip to... Okay, there we go. So let's just announce again that we're going to try one last restart. Obviously there's not much we can do about this. We need to go racing on this one, yeah. Tell everybody to enter. Okay, seems like everybody's in, so let's just do this one more time. It would be nice if it kept the grid order for us, but I'm starting to... Seems like we have just left the room. We can organize the rest in the meantime. Not sure what's going on here, but the next time we go racing, unfortunately, that's going to be the race. So seems like some guys are having this issue. Sorry for the delays again. This race should... Guess we could relate this to getting a puncher on a real race day. There's a lot more work involved in changing that though, at least. Okay, let's see if everybody goes in. We're just waiting for Manny and Rian to enter and hopefully go on the track. Hopefully they don't have any auto drive issues. Let's see what happens here. Wait for Rian, see if Manny... Okay, it seems like Manny's getting out the pits this time. So we're just waiting for Rian. Looks like he's not doing U-turns in the pit lane anymore. Thank goodness. Okay, so he's on the track. And now we're waiting for Rian. Hopefully his car goes straight out the pits, please. So it looks like this time we're good. So let's redo the grid, which will probably and hopefully be the... Well, it will definitely actually be the last time, excuse me. So one more time, Darren. was in first, Johnny Araujo was in second, Rick Lorero in third position, Adrian fourth, Rian in fifth, Chibuya, then Philip Meyer, then Matthew Waderly, Renier Smith. And you see, it seems like that position doesn't. Who's us? Florida. I forgot I need to enter myself, otherwise I cannot begin the race. Let's just double check. Hopefully it'll put us at the bottom. So, okay. Looks like we are good to go for the final time. And obviously anyone that gets stuck, unfortunately this time I will have to kick them from the session. There is nothing I can do. So this will be the final start. What I'll do is I will stay on the track because I'm at the back of the grid until the race actually gets going. And hopefully the guys have seen now that there is a chance that the guy in front will get stuck. So hopefully they don't hit into each other. We might miss the first corner action due to me staying on the track a little bit longer. So apologies for that, but let's just hope that there won't be. Let's hope everybody gets going. Obviously we want everybody to have a good race. The guys will put a lot of hours into this, so let's hope we just well, we can watch this from our view I suppose, but let's just hope most of the guys get off the line. Manny C's stuck, and it looks like so unfortunately there are a few guys that are stuck, but there's nothing that I can do about that. So let's go into spectator mode. Looks like we had a bit of a mess up here at the front, sorry, at the back should I say. So it looks like the same three guys. So unfortunately their internet is obviously crashing with somebody else's internet, so unfortunately that's that for them. But here we are. So at the front end we have Johnny Araujo leading things out, followed by Adrian, second position. Running a bit wide there. 69 racing for Team Sav Speed. We have Adrian in second and Rick in third. And this guy's doing a great job with the deliveries. A big thank you to Conrad, who has done a lot of deliveries as we see this combined racing, which is unfortunately taking out Johnny there, hitting him off the circuit, braking a bit too late. So obviously not ideal, not what we want to be seeing, but so Adrian leading things out, Philip Meyer now in third position, so good job from him. As Johnny unfortunately gets pushed down to fifth place. Matthew, it seems like there's been some action here between TH Boya and sorry, should I rather say Ron and Zahir, so some problems there. Manny C still stuck on the grid. Oh, this is not going to be good. Hopefully they move out of the way, yeah. So Manny has not left the session and cars to begin. So let me, I have to kick Manny out of the session. Unfortunately I did not see that he didn't leave, so apologies to whoever was affected there. Seems like everybody went straight here at turn one. Not sure what happened here, but some big changes up at the front. So Rick leading things out at the moment. Unfortunately, a very upside down race that we have going on here, but like I said, it's out of my control and nothing I can do. Unfortunately, some people's internet lines or you know, whatever the term is, clash, and this is unfortunately the result. So it is an issue. It has happened for many years since the game started. So unfortunately, there isn't much we can do. Matthew Waitley actually in third position, so great job from him, followed by Renier and Farad, who's actually pushed up to fifth position. It seems like the gap is quite a bit, so between 5th and 6th position, but so unfortunate events here that happened. And Johnny, who was actually in the lead of the race, dropped down to 8th. So unfortunately we missed what happened, but we had to exit to just kick Manny out of the session. It seems like a driver going slow here. I think that is Farad. So we have Farad and Adrian going to battle. Drivers on board with Farad at the moment. Adrian, so I'm not sure if he's going to go for a move here. Dives down the inside, makes the corner. Some contact there. I'm not sure where Adrian was turning in there, but Farad keeps the position. Good job from him. I think that is Johnny Ariza back up to 6th. Looks like the recovery drive has started as we go on board with him for a little bit. Looks like the front of Farad running a little bit wide. Look back here to see Adrian. Adrian on the chase, and it looks like Johnny is catching Farad at quite a pace. So still 15 laps left of this race, so there is still a long time ahead. There's many things that can happen, obviously we know, and I've seen it doesn't really take long for an incident to occur. Sector of the racetrack. Looks like Adrian is staying at bay here, so we could see a potential battle here later as Farad runs quite wide there, almost touching the grass. Lucky he did not clip the grass, otherwise he would have most definitely done a 360. So Johnny gets a bit on the grass, as I was saying. Not the best thing to be doing. So it does seem like these two are showing some decent pace and catching the guys up ahead. That would be Matthew Wadley and Mia. So basically this could be the eventual podium battle. 146.1 there from Johnny, which is not the pace we used to see in rallies. Actually did a 44.5, I think, 44.4 qualifying. As Adrian spins out there, not too sure what he did. Most probably touched the grass on the inside of the circuit, and unfortunately it just pulled him around. So unfortunate for him. As you see Johnny going past Farad as Farad ends up on the grass. So unfortunate for him, but back on board with Johnny, who also goes a little bit on the grass, but he's now chasing down Matthew Wadley. Obviously these two are real world racing drivers, and Johnny was actually the ex-chairman of the BMW Racing Series. So if we go back up front, we'll pick up on that battle. Just now we see Rick Leroux leading out for combined racing, number 126. So now has a 4.5 second lead to Philip Mayer. So good job from him. Tried his best to stay out of all the trouble and issues in the beginning, and managed to avoid Manny on the stopped on the front straight. So at least it seems like the battle that we were focusing on here is about to hot up. So we'll go back on board with Johnny as he chases down Matthew from the onboard camera, give us a better perspective as to what's happening. So on the grass goes Matthew, and down the inside goes Johnny. So it looks like Johnny is up to 4th position, and he now has quite a big gap to close down to Renier, who is also another racing driver. So there's the gap to put it into perspective. That is what 6.0, and Renier goes straight off, leaving his brake marker presumably way too late. And, as we'll see now, Johnny coming through, hopefully goes the right way and going past Renier. So let's see what happens between these two here. This is Matthew and Renier. Great friends, these two gentlemen. So Adrian dives down the inside, very aggressive move, not really not really ideal to just bump somebody out the way, but I suppose we might actually look into putting damage on for the next race, so we can maybe try and stop this kind of, you know, if you go for a move that is not really sort of, I don't want to really offend anyone, and I'm not really speaking about anybody in particular, but if you go for a move that is not really logical or reasonable, should I say, then you will get damage as well as the guy that you hit, and both your races will be over. So I suppose one of the issues is we might end up only having like 3 people finishing the race, but yeah, we'll have to look into that and see. As once again the battle closes up here, whereas Matthew Wadley runs really wide. So allows Adrian to make up some valuable time. Gap 1.7, now 1.9. And decreasing as we speak. So, unfortunately, we lost Darren Winterberg, who was the pole sitter for this race. The same thing happened to Paolo Rivera last night. He was on pole for Pool 2, and he unfortunately was the only driver who auto-drove, so that's why we did not restart the race. Here tonight, obviously, there was 3 drivers, and I think for the one there might have even been 4. So we obviously were forced to restart that because it's unfair. But unfortunately, we still ended up losing them from this race anyway, despite our efforts to try and let's see. Matthew going defensive, Adrian on the outside, so we can get an onboard shot here from what's happening. Let's see, on board now. Bit of a bump there. As we can see, Farad now closing up, flashing his lights. Let's see if Farad goes for a move. Adrian going a bit defensive. As we're taking a very defensive line to the left weapon. Farad getting out of shape as we saw there in the mirror. Glance in the rearview mirror, Farad flashing his glass again. So this battle seems to be hotting up a bit. Some credit carding going on here, as we like to call it in racing terms. It looks like a bump from behind there from Farad into Adrian, which almost forced him into Matthew Wadley, but let's see. So Matthew making this M6 very wide at the moment, so good job from him. And Adrian goes for a very big lunge, and it still seems to be bumping. It doesn't manage to get the move. As you see, presumably a M6 coming up on this side. There's Farad. So obviously got the drive on Adrian after Adrian sacrificed all his drive, and he might go for a dive bomb. I wouldn't recommend that. Oh, and Farad bumping Matthew Wadley right off the track. Yeah, I think damage will be an essential on the next race, so we need to try and avoid this as much as possible. Obviously, as we are making a bit of a joke of it now, but it's very frustrating. I've been in this position many times, and it's really not fun when you get bumped off the circuit. As we see, I'm not too sure who that was actually. I think that was Renier, yes. So Renier actually getting out of shape and doing a 360, losing that 4th position. And again in the front, Farad and Adrian switching positions. Farad trying to get on the power, but the car understeering and it goes very sideways. You see Renier coming back. Dive bomb here. Battle at the front, but that is because Rick Guerrero is leading up by quite a margin. We will catch up with him now and go on board with him for a few laps as Farad closes right up. Still flashing his lights there, Farad, so it is a good tactic to distract the driver in front of you. It's very out of shape, he's not pushing the limits here, and Farad down the inside. So good move from him. Unfortunately, Renier obviously turned the car a bit too hard, and the traction control kicked in a bit too much. Oh, and Farad goes off the track, handing that position back to Renier. So, like we say, it's very difficult. Let's see here. It looks like Matthew Wadley is going to regain that position that he lost earlier when Farad unfortunately bumped him off. So Matthew Wade in the back ahead. As we see, the only M3 on the grid here, driven by Zahir. Down in 8th place. And we have Ron Adams here, unfortunately, in 9th position. So lap 7, just on to lap 8, it seems like, sorry, actually, my bad, Ron is actually 1 lap down, so we are actually going to go on to start lap 9. We still have Rick Loretta leading Zanta for combined racing. 14.4 seconds, some very consistent driving here, except for that lap there, which was 2 seconds down, so good job from Rick so far. Some consistent driving, being very aggressive there over the inside curve. We'll pick up back on this battle now as we see this battle here from Farad and Matthew Wadley still on the go. So it seems like Matthew is actually driving very consistently, and they will have a look at his lap times now, but I'm sure they are very consistent because he seems to be keeping a steady pace but just not making any mistakes, aside from the one that he was unfortunately forced into. As we see there, obviously on those lap 3 and lap 7, but aside from that, he has been doing very consistent lap times, so good job on him. He's in 6th position. Seems like he has changed his sponsor. These are not his usual colours that he's raced the last 2 races with. Lights still flashing frantically there, it seems like. So maybe that might be a setting on his PlayStation that his lights are constantly flashing. I don't think that's intentional. So once again, closing the back on Matthew, and this is allowing Zahir. Oh, and Farad spins, hits the grass. Unfortunate, but as I said, Matthew's keeping it going, doing his consistent lap times, and he's in 6th position, so great job from him. So here now 4.3 seconds back, so it seems like we can go back to the front of the race actually. Rick doing well. Battle for 2nd and 3rd position, so the gap is 13.7 seconds between Philip Meyer and Johnny. So great recovery from Johnny. He was all the way down in 8th, if I'm not mistaken, after being pushed off unfortunately by, I think Rick it was, on lap 1. The left hairpin at the top of the hill. So unfortunate, but we just passed the halfway stage of this race. So undoubtedly plenty of action still to come. If we glance at the minimap, it does look like Zahir is closing down on Matthew Wade. So we'll wait a few more laps for that battle to hot up a bit, but we'll just stay on board with Johnny here, who's also new to sim racing. He actually bought a PS4 and Gran Turismo Sport not so long ago, so he has been putting in the hours of practice, and it's gotten him quite far. His best lap of the race is a 45.3, so it's a very fast lap time. And in terms of what the guys are using, I know Rick is using a steering wheel. I'm not too sure what Philip is using. I know Johnny is using a controller. Adrian in 4th is using a steering wheel. Renier is using a controller. I know that because he was telling me how difficult he's finding it at the moment. Matthew Wadley is also using a controller. Zahir, I'm not too sure of, and Farad is also using a controller. So most of the gentlemen in this pool are using a controller. Honestly, if you're new to the game, then a controller is definitely easier to use. Definitely easier to use. But Rick is pulling a sizable lead on 2nd place, now 24 seconds. I think Philip actually made a mistake because Johnny is now only 6.8 seconds behind him. So if Johnny puts in the consistent laps that he's doing, he's on average about 1 to 2 seconds faster than Philip every lap. So if he keeps that up, he will be able to catch up to the back end of Philip in the next 3 or 4 laps. So consistency is key, like always. It's very out of shape. I think he is driving with traction control. Very brave move considering he's using a controller. Let's just see if the red icon lights up there. I don't see it lighting up, so he's playing without traction control. So good job for him. I was doing some laps just now with the controller because I was in the lobby and my steering wheel wasn't connected, and I had to put the traction control on because otherwise it does become quite a nightmare to control the throttle. But it seems like that battle we were talking about between Zahir and Matthew Wadley, and as I say that Zahir does a 360. I think I need to definitely stop commentating because every time I move to a battle something goes wrong. So maybe we might see Farad catching the back of Zahir here. Let's have a look. We go on board with Farad. You see Zahir up ahead. Keep in mind Zahir will now have dirt on his tyres, so we won't be surprised to see him go off again now if he does push too hard. But he will without a doubt be slower for the next 2 to 3 corners, which will probably allow Farad to close the gap. As you see him run very wide, like I said, he undoubtedly do so. The gap now to 1 second exactly. We know that it has to be within a second to have the benefit of that slipstream. Let's see, and as we see, he's very wide. So his tyres must probably be back to normal by the next 1 or 2 corners, hopefully by the start of the next lap. But it looks like he's battling with severe understeer. Getting a good exit there. 0.7 is the gap, so we should see that gap decreasing slowly because of the slipstream, as you can see. So now Farad will have to adjust his brake markers. Hopefully he does keep that in mind because he just carries the speed that he would usually do. So he does that very well actually, and Zahir and they both actually run wide. Great drive there from Farad to when they almost come together actually. Farad squeezes him wide. Let's see if Zahir goes around the outside. He chooses not to. He went Farad almost on the grass again. Repeating the mistake he made earlier. So he ran very wide. It seems like Farad has got that position. So Farad up to 7. And the gap is now 5.4 seconds to second place. So this will most probably be the next battle to focus on if, like I say, they do put in those consistent laps. Good lap there from Philip, a 146.7 on the last lap, and a 145.6 from Johnny. So that 1 to 2 seconds, if we look a bit further down, we see that Philip was doing 47s and Johnny was doing 46s and 45s. So if things continue the way they are, there will without a doubt be a battle here. Most probably around the final lap. So we'll definitely be keeping tabs on this. But I think we should go on board with Rick for a little bit to take us through a lap here. So he is coming up. I can't say that. I look on the menu and this battle looks like it's actually come to life again. So Rick will have to wait a bit to go on board with him. But it looks like Zahir has got back past Farad. Not too sure how that happened. Like I say, we always tend to miss the action here. But let's see how this goes. Towards lights flashing again. And again, it looks like we're going to have a repeat move of what happened earlier. So let's have a look here. Audience Farad, hopefully they don't make contact. Goes for dive bombs, Zahir gives him space, so good diving from him. Bump there, almost. So here, most probably going to go on the inside here. Let's have a look at what happens. So here, chasing down Parade. Seems like he's pulling that gap now as he gets on the grass, which is very risky. That's allowed Xavier to catch up again as he goes wide. Xavier's view, so we can go on board the BM. You see a different interior for a change here. The BM obviously having the Nordschlag 24-hour layout on the left hand side of the door. Kind of pointless for a coupleness, but nevertheless. But you see the BM understeering quite a lot this afternoon. 159. Nice and late. You see the traction control kicking in quite heavily there. And as you can see, it's very sort of jerky. That's because of the controller. It's very difficult to be smooth on the controller. So lap 14, it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, the gap has closed down here for second place. But while that gap is still closing, let's go on board with Rick. As he goes through the long left-hander. So Rick is playing on traction control. The gap now 29.3 seconds. So great job from Rick. He's done very consistent laps. If we do look, take a glance to the right hand side, his lap time has been extremely consistent, except for that 8th lap where he obviously made a mistake. But no driver is perfect. That goes for every single racing driver. But it will be interesting to see what happens now as Rick closes up on Zahir and Farad. So let's see. Hopefully they do adhere to the blue flags and get out of the way. You see that the blue light there on the side of the track. And, no doubt if we go on board, we'll see at the top of the screen it says be way too fast for cars. Obviously Zahir is about to get lapped, so let's see if we can follow from him and watch from the rear view camera and see if we can see exactly where Rick catches him up. So let's have a look. So Zahir runs wide, avoids the grass at least, and he's getting very squirmy there. So on the brakes, very good brake marker there from Rick. Running very wide. So obviously at this point in the race, Rick does not need to take any risks as he has more than a 30-second lead. So let's just wait for Rick to get this move completed and then we will move into that battle for second place. If you look on the mini-map, you'll see that the two arrows are getting very close to each other. So let's just wait on board just to make sure that nothing happens to our race leader. So here, but it's very late. Closes right up on him. If we look back to the front, we see Farad there still. Zahir running off track, lucky enough to do a 360 there as Rick catches Zahir in probably the worst sector of the track to overtake. So hopefully Rick takes his time and doesn't go for anything that will lose him valuable time. Let's go back on board with Rick and see how he deals with the situation, as things seem to be getting out of control. As this is now Farad, I believe, so he has made his way past Rick, putting a lot of pressure on Farad. Hopefully Farad does move out of his way, as obviously he's not racing. Farad might be going defensive or he might be moving out of the way, one of the two. But let's see, things will without a doubt get interesting here. So let's see what happens here as Rick breaks. Oh no, they follow each other off the circuit. So the race leader, oh, they're all three on. Oh, so this is giving Philip Mayer. Let's have a look at these gents here. They are quite far behind, but Rick's still trying to get back on the circuit. So all three of the drivers actually going off the circuit there. Rick definitely lost very good time. It's not anywhere near enough, thank goodness for him. So let us focus on the battle for second now. We'll go on board with Johnny as he chases down Philip. So second last lap, or 1.1 seconds is the gap. We know that within 1 second is where you need to be, especially for the benefit of the slipstream. So Johnny puts in the fastest first sector of the race as he closes right up to Philip. So Johnny needs to start thinking about where he's going to make this move because he does not have the benefit of time. As Philip runs wide, maybe the pressure is getting to him a little bit. Hard line to get a good exit here. Right on the back end of Philip. Philip might be going defensive. No. Johnny goes for the move. Does he make it stick? No, he runs wide and Philip gets him back. So good driving there from Philip. Obviously, if you do stay wide on the outside and keep your brake marker as normal, it's almost impossible for the guy on the inside to pass you. Obviously you'll have to brake later than you and he will end up going straight. So let's have a look. I do see up ahead on the mini-map Rick has caught back up to Farad and Xavier, so I see them all bunched up. Hopefully we don't have a repeat. Let's actually move to that quickly. Let's see what happens here. So we'll watch from this camera view to see what happens. Let's see what happens with these guys. Oh, and contact again, so let's see. The car's getting squirmy again. Back with Johnny again. So it's the final lap within a second, but obviously Philip has moved clear of the slipstream. So have a look. Oh, and Philip making a big mistake. This is probably Johnny's best chance now, possibly to send a move down the inside if he can get a little bit closer. No, definitely not. So sensible driving here from Johnny. He's taking his time, but he is unfortunately running out of time, so we need to be making that move soon. Let's see maybe here. As Philip runs very wide, Johnny giving him a little bit of a nudge, so nothing wrong with that. All part of racing. As Johnny maybe getting a little bit impatient, pushing the limits, making this M6 understeer far probably. And let's see if Johnny might go for a move again as Philip goes defensive this time. Johnny braking on his marker. Philip might have left that a bit too late. He leaves the door open. Unfortunately, a bit of contact, but nothing wrong. It looks like Philip and Johnny coming together. But good move there from Johnny. Philip did run a bit wide and try to come back and close the line. Unfortunately, not to his success. So Johnny just needs to keep this together. But we'll go on board now with Rick as he is making his way to the start-finish. He's still trying to get past Farad. So obviously, these drivers ignoring the blue flags, which is not ideal, so we'll have to have a word with him. But well done to Rick. As we finish here, Johnny looks like he is in second, and he will be finishing in second for the last corner mistakes. So a great recovery there from Johnny to come from 8th to second. Very good drive from him, putting in those laps and catching Philip. At the end, well done to Philip, who comes across in third. And Adrian, who had a few incidents in this race, coming through in 4th position. Obviously, like we said, maybe from the next race we will implement damage to avoid, hopefully avoid any unnecessary contact, because I can promise you that there is nothing worse than nudging a guy a little bit and then getting engine damage, and instead of doing 230 down the straight, your car's doing 200 and everybody's going past you. So I promise you that's not what you want to happen. So well done to Adrian in 4th, as we watch Renier come over the line in 5th position for fast developments. Great job from him. As we mentioned, he's playing on a controller, so well done to him. Great drive from him. Matthew Wadley a bit further back. As he unfortunately hits the grass, but he is in the last sector, so like we said, not his usual sponsor on board here. I'm not going to mention who his sponsor was for the last race, as it is not appropriate for my stream. But anyway, if you do want, you can go back to the previous streams and look. But well done to everyone. It seems like we came 9th, even though we didn't start the race. Obviously, all the other guys DNFing. But well done to Rick from Combined Racing. Great job from him. Car looking stunning there, thanks to Conrad's Designs, Conrad Fenter. So thanks to him for helping out with all of the, or most of the liveries. Most of the complex liveries have been done by him. Yeah, well done to all of these gents. That was a good race. Obviously, once again, we saw quite a bit of contact there, which is unfortunate. But like I said, we obviously will have to look at implementing some form of, obviously, to police all the incidents that occur is extremely difficult, because we need a panel to help us with that. Obviously, I know that I do have the guys at my disposal, but there will obviously be a lot of incidents. So we'll have to look into that. We'll either make changes for the next and final round, which will be next week, or we will obviously implement that for the sort of follow-up competition, which obviously we are looking at running this Bridgestone BMW CCG SIM Challenge as a long-term project. Hopefully it keeps on growing, and guys obviously enjoy racing here. We hope that it can grow into something that runs side by side with our racing series. So that is what we're looking at doing. But well done to all the drivers, and that is the conclusion of round 3 for all the pools. So great job from everyone. And the next round will be next week, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Pool 1 on Monday, Pool 2 on Tuesday and Pool 3 on Wednesday. The circuit has not yet been announced, and I will only be announcing that most probably later in the week, probably around Friday, maybe even Saturday. Obviously next week Monday is a public holiday, so the guys will have ample time to practice. And yeah, we look forward to that. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate all the support. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see when we go live for the next round. And thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you at the next one. Cheers.